All right. So this will be pages 725 to 730. Go ahead and everybody put their name up there right now on theirs. And we will staple it later. Okay? Staple it later. Now, the strategy again, like I said, this is just another way to multiply fractions. We're not getting to division yet. You can rewrite a whole number as a fraction. We did this last week. I said, hey, remember when we take a number and we just slap a 1 underneath of it? That's the same as 12 when we throw a 1 underneath of it. That's what you have to do today for every single problem. And you'll see that's going to be the hardest part is you remembering to do that, and then the rest is just multiplying. Let's look at the first.
So you just put a 1?
Let's look at the first problem. A what? You get your workbook? You're sitting on it. Is it comfortable?
Yeah.
All right. So a wild parent spends 1/6 of the day looking for food. How many hours a day does a parent spend looking for food? Well, this one only gives you one number, it's a 6th. So this is where you have to think in your head, well, if I'm doing this multiplying, I got to have 2 numbers to multiply. So what's the other number in this sentence right here you see that you're supposed to multiply right here? Holly?
6.
We got 1/6. We got that. There's something else we got to multiply this by. But what is it? There's no numbers in here, are there? Ireland?
Of the day.
A day?
Yeah.
So what are we going to use for the word day? What number?
24.
Why 24?
Because it's 24 hours.
Yeah, because it says how many hours a day? Well, how many hours a day are there?
24.
24. So that's why we're taking 1/6 times 24. Now, today, just a little hint to see that if you're doing it right or not, your final answer is going to be smaller than that you're multiplying by. You guys got that? Your answer is going to be smaller than the whole number because you're multiplying that whole number by a fraction. So you're going to get a smaller number. So, we slap a 1 underneath of it like it did right here. And then we multiply the numerators. We multiply the denominators. We get 24 over 6. You guys see how that happens? Now, anybody remember what this is called right here? What kind of fraction is that?
Improper fraction.
Improper fraction. This is an imp. Improper fraction. We have to simplify that now. That's basically a division problem they're giving you. Most of the problems you're going to have today are probably going to come out to a whole number. Not all of them. So you look at the bottom number, you say, how many times does 6 fit into 24?
4.
So a wild parrot spends 4 hours a day looking for food. Now I did say the hardest part today would be remembering to put a 1 underneath the whole number. The second hardest thing is to do what's 24 divided by 6. For some of you, that's actually going to be hard because you don't know your facts still. Okay? So, 4. Again, you're going to be turning all this in today, so make sure as you go along that you write down what I have. Some of you can get pretty lazy. You're just writing, like on this next page, you'll just write in answers. And you need to write down. It'll help you understand what you're doing if you actually write down the steps. Key concept, to multiply a whole number by a fraction, you write the whole number as a fraction, then you multiply the numerators and denominators. Simple as that. Turn it to 726. Okay. Now I did say most of these are going to have a whole number, but sometimes you're not going to have a whole number, so you have to be able to take an improper fraction and turn it into a mixed fraction. 2 times 4/5 equals 1. What's the first step I need to do? I'm going to just ignore this right here. What's the first step I need to do that I said earlier? What do you think, Sailor?
Put a 1 under the whole number.
That's not what I said. I said slap a 1. Say it. Slap a 1 under what? Put it right there underneath that 2, right? You slap a 1 underneath that 2. So when you guys are working anything today, I want to hear you say slap a 1 underneath this number. Okay? Now what do I do, Brighton? So I've got this problem right here now. What do I do to those now?
I don't want to be here in stop for 1.
Times what?
Fractions, 2, and the 1 and 4/5.
Let's go back. What's it say right here? You write the whole number as a fraction, then you multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. Okay, you got that? All right, so let's look at it again. So what's my next step I do?
2 times
2 times what?
4/5.
Not 4/5. These are numerators.
This is torch on.
These are denominators. Just multiply those together. What's 2 times 4?
8,
What's 1 times 5?
5.
Now we have 8/5. Okay, I leave it like this as an improper fraction.
No.
I can't. I cannot leave. And some of you have done that on your work even from yesterday. If you leave it like this, you can't do that. Unless it says simplify, you got to simplify. So again, you can come over here to the side, because this is basically 8 divided by 5. So 8 divided by 5. How many times does 5 go into 8?
1.
That's going to be my whole number, 1. What's 1 times 5?
5.
Subtract, you're going to get, that's what's left over, goes up here. And that's my denominator. So 1 3/5. 1 3/5. So 2 times 4/5 is 8/5 or 1 3/5. And then this again. I don't do that estimating stuff, it's just a step that's coming. All right, so what's the first thing I do right here to number this one, where it says find 1/2 times 4, and we got to write it in simplest form. So what's the first thing I need to do on this one? Laura,
Slap the 1 under the 4.
slap a 1 underneath that 4. So you can rewrite it like this. You don't have to rewrite it, but if you need to see that they're straight across from one another, that's fine. Okay. What's the second thing I do now, Asher?
Multiply the numerator and then multiply the denominator.
And you're going to get what?
4 over 2.
4 over 2. Can I leave it like 4 over 2?
No. It would be, the answer would be 2 because 4 divided by 2 is 2.
Yeah, 2 goes into 4 2 times, so the answer is 2. So 1/2 times 4 is 2. Easy? Sunday morning?
Easier than a Saturday morning.
All right, look at some of these examples here. Remember, I'm looking as I go through it. You can work ahead of me right now if you want, if you know how to do this. But I'm looking for the work here, not just an answer. Some of you will just put in the answer of 4. I don't want to see that. I want to see the stuff right here. That's how I know if you have been following along with it. Lauren, what do you do first?
So you put a 1 under the 12.
Okay, so do like this, right? Now what?
And then you times the numerators together and then the denominators.
What do you get?
That's 12 thirds.
And then can we leave it like that?
No, you gotta divide it.
Yeah, so what's 12 divided by 3?
4.
What about this next one? Most of these are fairly easy to look at. It gets a little bit harder as we go along here. Oh, let's go with Emmeline. What do we do first, Emmeline? So 1/4 times, you said 1 underneath the 20. All right, now what?
Multiply the numerator and the denominator, which would give me 24.
Okay,
You would divide that.
you get what?
5.
There you go. 5. Yeah. Next one's a little harder. I'm going to show you something here in case you come up to this. This will actually be Tuesday's lesson, I believe. It's called cross crossing out crosswise. So what's the first thing I want to do, first of all? Who hasn't gone yet? Maddie, what do we do first?
Put a 1 underneath.
No, we don't do that. I don't put a 1 underneath anything. What is it? Slap a 1 underneath what?
But she
You didn't say slap a 1 under 12.
Now, do I want to do 18 times 5?
No.
In my head, if I'm trying to do it mentally, I don't really want to mess with it. So remember I said you can cross, cancel. Does 6 go into 18? How many times? Let's make this a 1. Makes this a 3. Because 6 goes into 18 3 times, right? Now, is 5 times 3 easier to deal with than 18 times 5? It's a lot easier. So what's 5 times 3? Over, what's that answer? 15, remember? You could have done it this way, 18 times 5, which would have been 90, and it would have been 90 over 6. Yeah. But
That would have been too hard.
it's just kind of a simpler way when you have a bigger number like that you're dealing with. Asher,
I was gonna say, on number 4,
you could have
instead of doing 5 times 18, 5, 6 times 18, 6 goes into 18 3 times, so you just have to minus 3 from that.
Yeah. Tell me. All right. What's the first thing I do right here? Colton, go ahead.
Slap a 1 underneath the 7.
Slap it underneath the 7. All right. Now what?
Then you multiply the numerators and then the denominators.
Perfect. What'd you get?
7 over 5. 7 over 7 Smith.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Now what? Divide. Now, I can do the dividing over here like this. I can do that. But can you do that in your, how many times does 5 go into 7?
1.
One whole time. Now I just subtract, what's 7 minus 5? 2 over, what's the denominator? You do it like that too, instead of doing all that division. So the answer is 1 2/5. Laura, question?
There's an easy way to do this. You don't have to put a 1 on the bottom. You just have to multiply the whole number by the denominator.
You don't have to, but the reason why I do it is so that people don't do this and get confused. Like if they forget to do that. That's why I always say slap it underneath of the 1, just so they'll remember. I want to get rid of that so you don't see that.
I need to scroll up some more, Mr. Young.
Yes,
All right. First thing I do here? Asher or Owen, what do you do first? What's the first thing? Two-thirds times, we got to put underneath the 14. Yep. What do we do? Slap it, right? Look at your neighbor and slap him.
No.
Look at your neighbor and slap him. I'm kidding, Emma, I knew you would. All right, now what's the next thing I need to do?
Stick them out.
What's the next thing I need to do? Asher? What do you get when you do the numerators? Over. Now. Can I leave it like that?
No.
How many times will 3 go into 28?
9.
9 times. That's the whole, right? And then I would say, well, 9 times 3 is 27. Subtract that, what are you going to get? 28 minus 27.
1.
1 over. You can do a lot of this, like Laura says. without writing a lot down. If you really know how to do this, that's fine. Like this one here, I can look at this and say 22 fifths. 5 goes into 22 4 times. There's 2 left over out of 5, and I wrote very little, didn't I? Some of you will be able to do that. That's fine. The rest of you, though, I think it would help you if you wrote out like this. What's 2 times 11? 22. 1 times 5. Same thing I got there, right? 5 goes into 22 4 times. I know that 4 times 5 is 20. I subtract those, I get 2. That's where I got the 2 to the 5th. Look at the bottom here. I like these kinds of problems here. First step, Lauren.
You cycle 112.
All right, now what?
And then you multiply 12 times 1 is 12. And 6 times 1 is 6.
Now what?
And then you divide.
So 12 divided by 6 is?
2.
Those are easy. Ah, this one's even easier. This one's even easier. Gavin, what do I do here? Besides chew on my hair. No, number 9. That's probably tough for you to see back there. It's pretty far back there. Which page though? Number 9.
No, that gets you not going to make sense. Put down the 13 and 1.
Good job.
What aren't you doing over there?
Go ahead. Here's an easier step for you. If these are the same, cross multiply are the same, how many times does 13 go to 13? Cross these out and they both become 1s. Now what's 2 times 1? What's 1 times 1? What's your answer?
2 half.
There you go, 2. That's pretty easy, wasn't it? I like it when they're the same because you're like, oh, it's 1. Cross them out. How about this one here? 24 times 3 fourths. What's the first thing I do? Who haven't I called on yet? Emma Evans, what's the first thing I do? Slap a 1 like you slap your mama, right? All right. Now what?
No.
Now what do you do?
Like you did last time.
Now what do we do? Now these numbers here are hard to deal with. I agree. 24 times 3. I don't want to do that. Will 4 go into 24? How many times?
6.
So this is going to become a 1. This becomes a 6. So now what's 6 times 3? Over. Or the answer is 18. See how it's easier when you cancel some stuff out, do some quick division before you guys go. Then you don't have to worry about dealing with those big 24 times 3, which is what is that, 72, and then 72 divided by 4. I don't want to do all those. I want to do them in my head. Look down here at the bottom. 5 times a 4th. Thompson, what do we do? And then? He said 4 goes into 5 1 time. Subtract those, you get 1. This denominator's 4. All right. Ooh, we got something different now.
It gets harder and harder.
What's the first thing I do here now, Holly? I'm not familiar with that term. Put a 1 under what? I put it there?
Yes.
Or do I set it there?
Just How do you spell wolf?
Slap it there, all right?
What?
Now, I got it all out. I'm on camera too. All right, so 15 times 7.
If we saw that magic trick.
Well, I'm going to show you how it works. 15 times 7 is what? What's 5 times 7?
It's 100 and
She already says 105. So I have 105 over what?
10.
How many times does 10 go into 105?
10.
So 10 is my whole number. What do I have left over? I have 5/10 or a half, right? So, I think I can do it this way. If I divide this by 5, what do I get? If I divide this by 5, what do I get? What's 3 times 7? Over. How many times does 2 go into 21? 10 times. What's left over? 1 over 2. So again, you don't have to be the exact same numbers like we did earlier. You could say, well, I know I can divide this by 5, so I can divide this by 5 also. By the same thing. Whatever it does to get you guys lower, we're going to do the next one like this. 32 over what? 1. Will 6 go into 32 evenly? It won't, but I can divide 6 by 2.
Ways to delete.
Yeah. So this is going to be a what? 3. If I divide this by 2, what do I get? 16. So what's 16 times 5 now? Over 3. So what is 80?
I don't think Star Wars would have this.
How many times does 3 go into 80? Or 8?
2.
2 times 3 is what? We're like up dogs.
Oh God, it's eating. Just
Sounds like that vocabulary. 3 goes into 20 how many times? 6. So 26 is my whole number answer right here. What's 6 times 3?
18.
Subtract that, you're going to get 2 left over out of 3. So it's 26 and 2/3.
They're having a jam.
There is a lot of stuff that you can do. You can go the long way if you want. If you want to do 32 times 5,
that's what I did.
6, you can do that if you want.
That's what I did, Mr. Young.
Good. But, I mean, there's different ways you can do it that I was trying to show you there. All right, let's look at the back side real quick before I let you guys free on your homework because we got to do our cookie mining activity later.
I wanted to.
Arletta is making nacho cheese dip for a pate. She needs to make 5 batches. How much salsa will she need? Well, this is salsa times what? So 1/2 times 5. What do I need to do to the 5? Slap a 1 underneath of it. Now what?
All we hear on our sleep is
5 over 2.
slap a one.
How many times does 2 go into 5?
2.
2 whole times, which that makes that 4. Subtract that, you're going to get 1. So 2 and 1/2. You're going to need 2 and 1/2 cups of salsa to make that 5 batches of nachos. Pizza. Maria ate 1/4 of a pizza, and there's 20 slices. So we're going to take 1/4 times 20. What I need to do to that? Slap a 1. Multiply the numerators, you're going to get 20. Multiply the denominators, you're going to get 4. 4 goes into 20. So she ate, 5 slices of pizza, Maria.
Maria.
Ooh, she's hungry.
She's back now.
I ate 8 pieces of pizza before.
Dude, you didn't have to say that.
All right.
Just
Write
call
and solve a
the
real
drill.
world problem. Somebody give me a real world problem right now that involves 8 times 5/8. Laura, go ahead. Better not be a fat joke towards me. All right.
We're already done a fat joke towards Marissa, whatever.
You said, yeah, Maria, yeah.
Yeah, Maria.
Go ahead, Laura.
Why Wyatt is making 8 loaves of bread.
Okay, write this down, guys. Making 8
Wyatt.
loaves
Make them fat.
of bread. This is your brother.
Oh, Danny.
Okay, go ahead.
He needs 5/8 of a cup of flour. Don't listen to what
He needs per loaf.
Per loaf.
Yes. He needs 5/8 of a cup. It's going to be a lot more than that to make bread. I'm just saying. Cups of flour to make a loaf. Okay, good. All right. Now what?
Wait. How many cups of bread does it take to make 8 loaves of bread?
How many cups of flour? Cups of flour
This one is not.
to make 8 loaves. So now we got to figure that out. So 8 times 5/8. What I got to put underneath that?
1.
Got to put a 1 underneath of it. Now what?
8 times 5 equals 40, and 8 times 4 equals 8.
Why are you changing the
And then 8
colors?
divided by 40 equals 5.
So Wyatt needs 5 cups to make 8 loaves. Really, a loaf of bread takes about 5 cups in its own. Just saying.
Okay.
I think.
Why are you changing
But-
the colors?
That is a good, real world problem to use there. You got it. You guys can learn a lot from Laura.
And Asher Johnson.
Yeah, Imagine water.
All right, let's look at the next one. This will be the last one we're going to do. Which one of these does not belong? Well, I'm guessing the answers are all going to be the same. So if we did this,
Which one doesn't belong in this box? Everyone.
so I guess this would be what? 12 over 2, which is the answer is what?
Oh, it's over.
6. This one would be 18 over 3, which also equals 6. This equals 20 over 4, which equals, we just found the one that doesn't belong already, didn't we? So one. We don't need to do a last one. All right, guys, your homework. It's page 729 and 730. It's fairly easy.
7:30. It's not. It's just 1:34.
Fair.
Simplify, as it says right here, like in simplest form. Remember, slap your ones underneath. Multiply the numerators and the denominators and simplify. Simple as that. And then backside, length of the popcorn machine is 3/4 of its height. So this is the height right here, 24, guys. So you're gonna take what?
That popcorn's so big. Why do they only have like a half?
You're gonna do that right there. And figure that answer out. Okay. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for you guys. Make sure you staple it when you're finished. Make sure your name's on it. Like we haven't done for a very long time. Put it in the math box over there when you're finished.
In the video.
Mikey, thank you for joining us today. Monday will be regular stuff. Okay, we'll be on here normal. And we're getting ready to do an activity in here. You can stay with us if you want. You really can't do the activity because you're not here. So.
Maybe he does.
Okay.
Do you want to work with anybody on this homework? Or you good by yourself?
I can do it by myself.
All right, buddy. Have a good weekend.
You too.